And welcome to the Internet Soapbox Podcast, the show where we dick around for about an hour and somebody listens. There's a few of you out there. I know you're out there.
I mean, I listen.
Yeah, so that's about 2 viewers out of like 10 views. I got a couple of things we're going to talk about today, and the first thing that we were talking about right before we started recording was games as a service. And this isn't necessarily a gaming podcast, this is just something that I've seen a lot about, and me and him were talking about, so we both have opinions about it. So,
And it's also something that everyone in our group is interested in. By the way, just to state before I forget, today is just me and Nate.
oh yeah, it is just me and Nate. Elliot and Hannah are not here today because they're both at work. So it's a sausage fest.
Woo!
So as far as games of a service go, a lot of games nowadays are turning more towards a not just a year cycle where the new one is released every year. It's turning into a thing where a game can last 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and as Destiny 1 wanted to, 10 years, but we know how that turned out with D2. So, I would say the biggest problem I have with Destiny 2 is, or just Destiny in general. Not Destiny, what the fuck am I talking about?
With games with a service.
Games as a service, yes.
I mean, Destiny, yes, but games as a service.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Destiny, but
It's a good example.
games as a service. The thing that really sucks about it is, and this isn't to shit on game devs, it's mainly to shit on the publishers. Generally speaking, a company will rush out an unfinished product, and this product can be half-baked. Mechanics might not work. There might be gaping holes in the land. The skybox might not be edited correctly. There's a multitude of things. I'm just coming up with things off the top of my head. But it's such a prevalent thing nowadays, especially when the Xbox One, what is it, the 7th gen came out?
I want to say it's 7th gen.
Yeah, the 7th gen, because I think Xbox One X, the Series X or Project Scarlet. PS5, that's the one.
Yeah. That might be the 8th gen now coming out. I don't know. I stopped keeping track of the gens.
Especially when the 7th generation hit with the PS4 and Xbox One, that's when a lot of games, especially during launch, were rushed. And there's going to be a time, probably, since the Xbox 360's online service is still on, I can see the Xbox Ones being on for even longer. Who knows, they might just keep it up forever. Like, technology's crazy.
Well, actually, the way they're doing it now is that they're trying to wean people off the Xbox 360 because every month or two, I guess, they're trying to convert everything from Xbox 360 to Xbox One.
Yeah, I feel like they're doing a very slow killing of it. And
Oh, yeah.
I might call off of work and just, like, buy a $20 Xbox console from GameStop and a copy of Halo 3 and just jump on and play a few more games, like with some friends or something, just for that nostalgia's sake, because that was my first online console, and I have a lot of memories of that platform. But I'm getting sidetracked like hell. So it's just, a lot of things get unfinished, there's just a lot of like half-assedness to it, like, I don't know, with like a launch day, because those services get taken offline. Like, let's say the Xbox One gets taken offline, no longer can contact Xbox servers. Then we have a problem of, if a game has a day one patch that fixes something that was completely broken in-game, you can't download that patch anymore. And that turns into a whole issue of that game's unplayable now.
That, or you have to go through some unscrupulous sources just to get the patches, because you can always go online and find someone's got that patch. But also on top of that patch is a copy of fake Norton. Now you have like all these random things attached to your computer, and now you have a virus. Congratulations.
Yeah, like the old days when you download an emulator from a dodgy website and they try to get you to install their toolbars. Yeah.
Yep. But as far as game of the service on my end, well, those are all problems that I also have. My biggest problem is you don't own your games anymore. They're not yours. Like, I'm literally looking at my Sega Genesis. I have a cartridge in it of Shining in the Darkness. I own those. Those are mine. I can play that game as much as I want until I break it, which I've almost had. But, like, it's one of those things where, like, I own that. It's mine. It's in my collection. I don't own most online games, and even if you are able to buy a physical thing like a disc or something, just like you said, you can't do all the updates when it goes offline. What about games that don't have a single player? Like, what if, let's say, an example, Overwatch overnight just ended? They just said, we're done. Don't worry about Overwatch 2, that's been canceled. The studio shut down. There goes Blizzard, just like axed it. It's done. Your game is gone. Oh yeah, you can hear the rain going. It's raining here, but the problem is that once Overwatch gets axed, that's it. You can't play it anymore. You have a useless game in your collection. So I have a nice case with a disc that does jack shit when the servers are gone. And I know not many people find a problem with that because a lot of people are very much like, I have a friend who's like, I just play a game until I beat it, and then I move on to the next one. But what about the people who like enjoyed it? Like, I can't think of any online games that was my childhood. I mean, I have some fond memories of Halo 3. Like, I love that game. And I have other ways of playing it, obviously, but, like, I'm trying to think. Like, I guess, oh, actually, great example, Tony Hawk. I used to play the Tony Hawk games online. Can't do it anymore. You have to go find a rogue server for that. And, like, it's unfortunate.
I have a lot of really good memories about playing GTA 4 online. Like,
Oh,
now that
yeah.
GTA Online, where now it has all the stuff where it's like a metagame, it was literally just a sandbox free for all. It was me and another guy we met. I met. His gamer tag was Wicked Clown. We would go around and just run around. I remember the first time I met him. I was running from somebody in a buzzard, and they were just trying to bombard me. And he saw me like running for my life, and he's like, "Hey man, come here, let's go under this bridge." And then like me and him together stole a car. You know, we just drove off, and it started a whole, I'd say, year and a half of friendship and just general video game tomfoolery. Yeah, I have him added on Facebook. I should probably message him sometime, see how he's doing.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone I've met specifically through Xbox. There are people who've come and gone where I've had their basically their gamer tag for a while and we would play games, but like I never really knew them very well. But I was also very much if I don't know you in real life, I probably wouldn't be friends with you only because I have a very short attention span for people.
It's just there's a lot of memories on the Xbox. Like there's a lot of like once the Xbox 360 draws to a close, like I don't know. It's just it's going to be a strange world because that's where kind of my I had a Game Boy, of course. I played a lot of Game Boy games and stuff. My 360 was my first foray into console gaming. So I just had the first like that's like my first, your first is special and it's just going to be gone one day and I feel like with the games as a service just to bring it all around in a really jagged circle.
Hmm.
I just feel like that's the way society is about everything nowadays because most of our lives take place in, these, what, 6, 7 inch boxes. Like, and everything just, it seems so temporary, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that may be a weird way to look at it. It's just one of those things where when we were young, things felt like it'd be around forever, like, game cartridges and discs and the more we get to digital and the more that this stuff is hosted by big companies are at the end of the day looking to make some money. So if something doesn't make them money anymore, it can be shot down very easily and be
Hmm.
gotten rid of quicker than, you can blink. All it takes is dragging it to the recycle bin.
And to reverse on that, because trust me, I believe there's a lot of problems with that. As someone who collects video games and consoles, I find it really awful to have untangible things. But on that flip side, I'm I kind of like the digital aspect of it because now there's more free games. There's more when you get a console. It's not as much of oh well now you got to get the games. You only have one game on that console until you're able to get the money to get more. As someone who was a poor kid, who if I did get a console with a game, that was it. It was that game and nothing else. If I was lucky, I got maybe 3 or 4 games for Christmas with the console. Cool, great. I have 4 games I can play for a year or until my birthday. That's it. I couldn't play anything else. Now I buy an Xbox. There's at least 10 free games I can play from launch, where I can be like, yeah, they're not great, but I mean, I used to play different versions of Tetris on the Genesis, and I paid for that. So like, and I was born into Sega Genesis. Like, me and Sonic share, I believe, the same birth month, and I grew up with Sonic, so I still have the cartridges and everything. So I still have those in memory. Those are tiny whatever games that I would spend hours playing. So I will play your free tiny whatever game for hours as long as it's entertaining. And on top of that, now that you have digital, everything gets cheaper. It's faster. I don't have to go wait and drive to a store or wait for it to come in the mail. I can be like, cool, day one, download. I did that with Civ. I was never happier when I came home from work and I could just start Steam. It's already installed. It is ready to play. I can play it right now, and I love that aspect.
And I came from the Xbox One to PC gaming. I got my first gaming PC, I would say last Memorial Day. No, like the Memorial Day before the Memorial Day 2019. That's what I got
Yeah.
mine. And I'm sitting here looking at it right now. It's this loud like laptop, and like it doesn't have a CD port on it. It doesn't have a CD drive because it's all digital now. And yeah, I have Steam, and Steam hosts things pretty well. They don't really remove that much stuff.
No,
So
they do, but not enough.
yeah, like I don't really worry about it as much as I would with a console because it's easy to. I feel like the thing I've noticed between PCs and consoles is the console generations, it's whole new hardware, whole new controllers, everything's brand new, you have to buy all the new stuff. It's like if your game's not running that well, you can just buy another part for it, swap it out. Obviously not with this laptop, but
Hmm.
I have a little money burning in my pocket, and I might get a desktop soon.
Which I prefer.
But no, this thing really works well for college and just having it. I just got to figure out a situation with the fans before I go back to school. So
Not to go full nerd, but I have many issues with laptops. Not that they're bad computers, not that you can't make a powerful laptop. That's completely asinine to think you can't. But at the end of the day, you'll be spending a lot more money on a powerful laptop than you would on a tower that could be like double what you got in a laptop. And I have many issues with Apple versus PC, which I'm not going to get into. But the point I was trying to get across is if you get the tower, you're going to be able to do so much more than you can on that. And that leads into the point I was going to make earlier is console versus PC, I think, is a dumb competition.
yeah, each of them have like their pluses and minuses. Like the consoles are very easy to just pick up and run. And
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
if something doesn't run on PC, you've got to go through your settings, tweak visuals, and maybe go into the control panel for Nvidia, mess around with that. No, that thing's honestly held me up pretty well. It has in it a Nvidia 1050 Ti, an i5 processor, had 8 gigs of RAM, but I put another RAM stick in, so there's 16 in there.
Awesome.
So I got it for about 500 on Memorial Day, so this thing runs pretty damn well for the amount of money I spent on it, and it'll stay pretty good for a couple years while I'm still in college. Like worst case, I have to buy another one, but I'm not going to be buying an iMac or not an iMac. That's the big
Ew.
ones. A MacBook. I'm not going to like. That's the thing. Like my college, I'll see all these kids with like these MacBook Pros, and I'm just like,
They think they're cool.
yeah, I'm just like, I know it's because of, you can't see me doing this, but I'm picking up my phone and tapping the Apple on the back. That's the main reason, is because, and I understand there's a whole ecosystem there where your phone syncs with your watch, with your AirPods, with your computer, with your
Which no one ever
desktop.
actually uses, by the way.
If I ever buy a MacBook Pro, it's literally because, like, I don't know, I have enough to do it and I can justify it because the main thing that Apple has going for it is their suite of video editing and photo editing software. Like that stuff is I've read about it and it's fantastic.
So I'm not going to get into the bad things about Apple right now because I don't have all day. But for those who hate Apple, like with a passion, note there are pluses to Apple products. Like, it hurts me to say it because it's true, but I had a MacBook for a while. Their trackpads are amazing, so that's one reason for people to get it. If you are a simple person who has simple needs, It's easy to pick up and just run a Mac. It's easier than Windows for the most part. Windows is a lot more complex, which I think is better because then you have more control. But I'm not getting to the bad things. I'm not getting to the bad things. Only positives. Their screens are well done. They're well made. I never had a problem with their screen. What else? What else? Their cameras are fantastic on the MacBooks. Like surprisingly good. I had a 2009 one. It was better than most webcams I had. Terminal runs without the OS, which is fantastic. And I knew friends who used to render things through it. And as you said, with the video and editing and everything, not fully true. There are better ones. The only thing Mac has over PC is Soundtrack Pro. I love that program. It's only for Mac, and it hurts because Sound Booth on the Adobe Suite is fine. I like it. I'm going to be going into that after this to go clean up this audio because I like it so much. But Soundtrack Pro's like software was so much more powerful. I only had to click a couple of buttons and all my audio is clean, no problem.
The only thing that bothers me about this laptop, because I was just looking at it while we were having this conversation, is the trackpad is a little bit to the right of where the center, and that doesn't bug me because it's not in the center. I'm not really that tore up about that. It has a full keyboard, but the trackpad, it's right underneath where my arm, like I'm gonna put my hand on it right now. It's right there when I'm playing games. And that's probably the worst thing about it. But I can turn it off with the FN settings, but I forget a lot, so.
That's the thing is I don't like trackpads in general. I'll just give Apple props because theirs actually works fantastically with their gestures, and on top of that, like when I had to use it, like almost anyone who touched it was able to instantly use it, no problem. I don't know the technology about it, but there's certain ones, like I had a Samsung that just, if I wasn't the one using it, everyone else would have a problem getting all the gestures and the DPI, I guess, right? Apple seemed to just work well with everyone. I don't know. I can't explain it. It is not very scientific, but that's just what I noticed.
All right.
Yeah, but fuck Apple anyway.
Yeah, like I'm fine with their mobile ecosystem. I can't see myself spending the amount of money it would take me to buy a MacBook unless I could justify the purchase, because I had trouble spending $5 to, it was for some service. I don't remember what it was, but I was just like, do I really need to spend, oh, it was Robinhood, the stock trading app I use. I was sitting there, I was like, should I really spend $5 a month to get extra information about investing? I was like, should I really do that? And I was like, just do it. Like, just go ahead. Like, it's $5. All right, so one of the next things we're going to talk about is Halo Infinite and the, I don't know, stuff that's going on around it as far as, like, everybody's seen the trailer. Like,
Well,
everybody's...
like me.
We'll have to watch that afterwards.
Eventually, yeah.
They're going back to the old art style with, like, Halo 1, 2, 3, and they're getting rid of the 4 and 5 aesthetic, like that over-detailed aesthetic where it was just a little bit much. Like, I've always, like, Halo is a little cartoony, and I mean that like a shade of it. It's not completely cartoony. It's just, it's a little more cartoony than real.
It's a little more rounded edges. It's stylized in such a way that it's not, I don't want to say realistic, it's a really bad term to use for it, but it's not as angular, it's not as gritty, it's a lot more, not kid-friendly, but I guess cartoony would be probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to talk about Craig. I've seen all the memes and stuff, and yeah, he's a good lad. Like, but I just, I'm not going to defend the game. The last good Halo game, like, for me, was probably Reach. Like, I don't know, like, I just feel like there was a big divergence there. I'm hoping we're going back to form with the new ones. The biggest thing that I'm having an issue with, like, it's something really small, but it's still just, they took out the Magnum. They took out the old Halo Magnum with the big, weird, like, bulky, like, it looks like just a regular 9mm pistol. And I don't feel like a Halo game is a Halo game without that, like, goofy looking pistol. Because there's just something about it.
It's iconic.
It's one of those things when I think of Halo, the first thing I think about is the Master Chief. The second one is the Elites, and I wouldn't say three, but probably four or five is the Magnum because of how just stupid powerful it was.
I
Like,
guess if you were to tell me what's a weapon in Halo, go. Magnum would be the first thing you say.
I'd say Needler, but
I can't say I hate the
I
needler, so I
love the
wouldn't say
Needler.
that. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Little fun fact about Halo 1 though, because Halo was probably like one of the first big shooters, like on the consoles anyway.
Well, the first big modern shooter.
Yeah, it was because a lot of them went with the legacy, where the legacy controls where the stick would move. It's like one stick. It's hard to explain, but one stick would move the body and the head one way, and one stick would move the body and the head another way. So it actually was like, all right, the left stick is your body and the right stick is your head. It's the game that established that. Like, I might be wrong. Destroy me in the comments if you want. The Needler was actually made specifically to help people that were getting used to the game mechanics of moving and shooting like that, because like how aggressively they chase targets,
Yeah.
like they purposefully did that so it was a little more accessible, and I thought that was pretty neat. Like, I didn't realize that, but it makes sense like in retrospect. I've had Halo in the mind because I've been replaying all the Halo games just for something to do in, these uncertain times we're in, but it's fun.
I've been recently streaming. Well, I tried to stream Halo. That didn't work out as well as I was hoping. And then I started streaming, Halo Wars. So I've been in a Halo loop for a bit.
I've been thinking about getting Halo Wars 2, but I'd have to
Fun.
buy it through the Microsoft store. That's my only
Well, I did it because you buy it once, you buy it for both. So I have it on PC and Xbox One, so I can flip between the two and be like, oh, cool, I want to play on Xbox with my friends, or I'll play on PC by myself because all my friends play on Xbox.
Yeah, and I'm not really a multiplayer guy. Like, I used to be, but as of late, I've just been kind of retreating into worlds, like, single player worlds, and just wandering around and enjoying myself that way, because I don't know, for me, it's not really winding down like playing a multiplayer game and get angry at the dude who shot me 3 times and then teabag me. I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna chill out and like wander ancient Greece and Assassin's Creed Odyssey or something, just enjoy just chilling and killing. That was really bad.
Well, in right now, the only single player games I've been getting into is Civ. Otherwise, like I play Minecraft alone, but technically I'm on a server, so like I'm playing with a bunch of people. It just so happens no one's on while I'm on, but that's fine because then I can go to sleep and wake up and not have to worry about asking people to go to bed, please, please bed.
I'm playing on a YouTuber server, and she is a semi-big YouTuber. She has about 500K subscribers. That's big for us, but like 500K subscribers, and
Well,
we have 12 now?
I think on Chaotic Fails we have 12. I think I have 6 on my own personal channel, and I haven't checked the Internet Podcast one.
We have 10 on that one.
Woo!
So, but
Please subscribe.
yeah, please.
Please.
If you've listened this long enough, something has kept you here.
At this point, I'm threatening you. Do it. You're here already. Lost, sunken cost fallacy. Go do it.
She has like a little Minecraft server. It has like 50 people max, and it's always dead. So it's like I'm going around enjoying it, and they have the Elite Mobs plugin, and I just found out about that. I was like, dude, that's really cool. Like, you kill leveled mobs, and all of them have like more health and more damage, like the higher level they are, and you get elite coins, and you can level up, and more aggressive, higher level enemies will start appearing, and they'll drop like better loot. So it's like it's a progression system. It builds on the very bare bones framework that is there for the game vanilla. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting to play.
Now, when I do Minecraft, I'm a city builder. I'm a nation builder. I have the nation of Rhogian, and me and my friends all came up with nations, and we all kind of made our own cities and towns. That got out of hand when we had a Cold War at one point. It got bad, but that's how I do Minecraft. Like if I didn't have to fight mobs, that would be fantastic. But string isn't free.
I played a little bit on some anarchy servers and stuff like that, and those are
I can't. I can't do
hellholes.
that. I can't.
I had the Impact like mod client. I was like running around and doing all that stuff, but it's just one of those things where it's like it feels like spy versus spy after a while, and it gets boring really quick. Like it's like once you make it out of spawn and then you build your little house and get all the stuff you need. After that, it's boring. It kind of just I don't get how people do that, but I do a lot of boring stuff that other people don't like doing.
That's the
So
thing about Minecraft is the way everyone experiences that game differently. I know people who hate that game because there is no ending. I mean, there is, but there is no real ending. It's open ended, and they're like, "Well, I want a game that tells me what to do." And I'm like, no, no, nothing against people who like that. Like, there are times where I'm like, if this game doesn't have an end, why am I here? Like, but there is a point where like it's an open ended game, and how I play it is different than everyone else. But people who want to play two different ways cannot coexist like at all. If I want to play where I want to build, I'm very much if I'm dedicating time to this, I want it to stay. I want to build up and keep going. Someone who likes to knock down the buildings, you don't want them there.
and one of those I saw a video. I don't remember who it was from, otherwise I would cite them. But it was talking about people that like Minecraft and people who don't like Minecraft. People who are creative based are more likely to flock to Minecraft, and I can draw stick figures, and that's about it. But I enjoy like building a little house that looks really shitty and just kind of going around doing things, collecting things. Like I'm a hoarder in games. Like I
Same.
constantly like I have chests full of stuff, and I can't throw away 13 gravel. Um,
I have chest full of dirt.
but yeah, like I like open world games and I enjoy being able to create my own objectives, but one of the main problems I have is every game series wants to have an open world thing now, and it's like there is absolutely nothing wrong with being in a hallway and just doing like not in the literal hallway, but like the older like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 kind of thing where it's like yeah, there is a set path and you could do one of two things. There's not really I'm not going to pretend there's a whole illusion whole choice there. It's more of an illusion of choice, but sometimes it is good to have a hard objective when you're playing a game because it's just it's when you have like 100 games where it's just like oh yeah, go out and do your own thing. It's like well it just feels interchangeable after a while. I feel like Skyrim set that precedent, like
I can't play
where
Skyrim because of it.
you have to constantly be looking, and the whole idea of it is oh, just wander, like go find something to do. And I can play Skyrim up till I get all of the main guild quests and the story done, and then after that, it's just the boring Radiant quests, and it's just like man,
My opinion is you give me a story to run through, or give me an open world. When you give me both, it sounds cool in theory, but now I'm lost. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Skyrim, I played for maybe 2 hours, put it down, said I'm done. Because one, I was in college at that time, and I'm like, I really don't have time to go into this massive, massive game. This is too big of a game for me. I can't sit here and spend 20 plus hours just getting started. I play Civ. I've played hours and hours of Civ, but I can put that down. Skyrim, you can't put it down and come back to it. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
I've heard the analogy of like playing Skyrim and not playing it for like a month is like waking up after a heavy night of drinking. Like it's like you don't know where you are, you don't remember what you're doing, and why the fuck do you have this in your right hand? Like
Like, I had to stop playing Bioshock for a while because like my game had an issue and I had flipped out on it and I had to go back to an older save. And I'm like, I can't go back to an older save. Like I'm so far back that it's not worth it. I'm done. Came back a week later. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was. But because it's a linear game, I was able to get up and be like, oh, wait, okay, these are okay, I can do this. Okay, now I'm caught up again. In an open world game, once you come back, you're like, I don't know what I was doing. What was I doing? Was I doing a thing? I don't remember. But at least with Minecraft, with a fully open world game, that doesn't fucking matter. You don't know what you were doing before. Start a new thing because it doesn't matter, and you'll eventually figure out what you were doing before.
yeah, just nuke it with TNT and start over.
Yeah, or just start a whole new world, which I have a bad habit of doing. I have a very bad habit of if I stop playing for a month and come back, I'm like, I'll just start over.
I have a habit of playing Minecraft in the hardcore difficulty just because I've always been a person where I would just take, like, I'd get mad and, like, turn it off and never play it again, like the world again, when a creeper blew up my house, and that's usually how I die. So it's just like, okay, like, whatever, like, I'll just start a new one. So I've just been playing hardcore if I'm playing single player because I'm a sadist. I don't know.
That's literally FTL for me. I'll be like, why did I stop playing this game? I love this game. Get to like the fourth jump, everything's on fire. I'm invaded. Fucking drones are attacking me. I have no energy. Fuck this game. I'm done. No, fuck everything. I'm done. I'm done. Fuck it. And then about like 3 months later, why don't I play FTL again?
All right, we're back. One of the things that I think that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about things we like about gaming, like just things that keep bringing us back to this medium that is the biggest time sink and biggest waste of money, really. Like, I love
disagree
gaming,
on that
but
last part though. Waste of money. And I'll
it
get to that
depends on the
later.
game.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's just, I'm going into the old boomer logic of like, oh yeah, video games are a waste of money, but
So to start off, before I get into the things I like about video games, with the waste of money thing, because that's an interesting thing. I actually talked with a bunch of friends, and we found out that the only way to justify that it's not a waste of money is how long am I playing this game for? Is it worth the money? If I pick up a game, play through it once, and put it down, that's a $5 game. If I never touch that game again, that was a waste of money. A $30 game is a game I play for a couple of months and then put down. And I'm not talking internet-based, like online. I'm talking about this is single-player experience. Couple of months, and I put it down, and I feel good about it. That's a $30 game. If I play for a whole year, that is a $60 game.
that's fair. I'd say one of the things that always bring me to a game and keep me in the game is a game world that feels real. Like, not just like, it's like there are some games that feel like they're just a 3D living, breathing world, and there are games that feel like a, I don't know, 2.5D, where it's like, it feels like they tried to make it as real as possible, but in some ways the world feels real, in some ways it feels like cardboard cutouts. Like,
Where
it kind of
comes in, grabs you, and pulls you back.
yeah, like it's one of those things that just feels really strange when you really think about it. Like, if a game can take its faults and hide it behind, something that drags me in, usually I don't notice it as much. But if it's one of the things I guess it is with Skyrim, like I can keep going back to Skyrim because it was such a milestone when it came out. Like, it was so not revolutionary, but it was so
It changed a lot about gaming.
yeah, it changed the whole landscape to open world, like we were talking about. But I'd say the thing that always brought me out in those games was if you were having a serious conversation and then an NPC happens to walk past you and it's like, looks like it's going to be a cold one. Frost is never good for my crops. Like, this, like, stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure you can pin down what NPC I'm talking about, but it's just, when I'm talking to somebody about some story stuff and it's like, can't you see we're having a fucking conversation? Can you just go back and cover your crops with, I don't know, warm bullshit or whatever? Like,
dude, if this is such a problem, why don't you fucking, go, there's magic in the world, go warm up your goddamn crops. Jeez, why are you over here complaining like a bitch?
does it ever go into it in the Elder Scrolls lore that some people can't use magic? Because I wonder if that's a thing. But I feel like in the older games there might have been something about that, but in the newer games I feel like, because you can pretty much be whatever the hell you want. Like, the way I've noticed with the Elder Scrolls games is just looking up stuff for Morrowind is when I realized it, when I was trying to remember certain things. It was, each character has their own stats. So it's like following that logic. I'd imagine in the Elder Scrolls 5 you'd have everybody has stats, so everybody can be good at anything, in theory. But, you could just work on it and get good at magic. But it's like in the older games, if you wanted to stick to something, that was what you did. You can go out with it, and really, if you want to sit there and cast Fireball 15 times in a row and have it fail 15 times in a row just to try to build that up, you can. But it's not really fun.
Yeah. That dude could just hire someone. I'm just saying that dude's complaints are nothing. My thing is I like characters that I feel for. Like Undertale being one of the best examples of it for me. And I know a lot of people are gonna roll their eyes like, oh, the characters are dumb and stupid. Like, no. You think that way because you're trying to look past the stereotypes. You're trying to look past the what's it called? When the cliches. That game embraces the cliches and reworks them in its own light. And I love a game where I like same thing with cartoons or with movies. I want to feel like I'm there with the characters. I want to feel like I'm having an experience with them. And there are games like Fable where you just don't.
Oh, Fable.
I love Fable, but that game you don't feel for any of the characters. I don't feel like I'm in that story. I am an observer of that story. When I'm watching a show, I feel like I'm there with the characters. I'm enjoying the show with them to the point where they feel friendly. They feel like a distant friend. And games like Fable are like, I'm just watching a really shitty melodrama.
I feel like one of the things that is the biggest thing for me, like that brings it to my next point, is interesting mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, Fable had some interesting mechanics, not interesting characters. Like, I like the whole strength, skill, and will thing. The one that I played the most was Fable 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I
love Fable 2.
Fable 3 was a little weird for me.
I hate Fable 3.
I can't pin down what I didn't like about it, but because it's been it's been probably like 7 years since I played Fable 3, whenever it came out, like about a year after.
Let me pin down what's shit about Fable 3. The menu system.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally it. That's the reason why I hate that game. That's the only reason I hate that game. Besides the fact that everything else is kind of shit, but that's the reason.
And the reason why I tried to play Fable 1, I just ended up like just kind of just reading about the story on Wikipedia, because like no matter how far you are in the game, your health is low. Do you have any potions or food? And I was just like, I don't need tutorials 5 hours into the game.
See, I've played Fable 1. I love Fable 1. Fable 2 is clearly the superior game, but that's like just like the Sonic drowning music. You're low on health. You should probably drink a potion or eat some food. It's just ingrained in me. I hate it. I hate it so much every time it comes up. And I live in the I call it the blue because of PUBG. But I live in the blue. I live in the death. That's my life, because spending money on food and potions is a problem.
I don't know, like, and especially in games, like if I have the option to, I'll always like spec in like health regen, because I'll just be like, oh, who needs strength when you have health regeneration? Like, if you go back far enough, your health will regen and you'll be good. Like, I don't know, like
your
I feel like
theirs doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like it's such a cheap way to play, too. I know it's a cheap way to play, but that's just how I've always done things, is like, oh yeah, health regen, that sounds really good.
Yeah, everyone has their own way of play. And that's another thing. I like games where there is multiple different ways to complete the same goal. Like any type of game where there's like, oh, there's a stealth way where you can do it, or you can do it in the action way where you go in guns blazing. Hey, we also have a diplomatic way of doing it. Another reason why FTL was great until the whole ship is burning and you get invaded and then it's the drones. But like that, like especially trying to think of other games that have that, like Stardew Valley is a good one where you could well, not a great one, but you have the end thing is, oh yeah, the town hall, how do you want to rebuild it if you decide you want to rebuild it? And there's many different ways you can do it. The way that they really push is you do it with hard work and excellence. Or fucking capitalism. That works too. That works a lot.
You can't beat them, join them.
I've never done the JoJo Cola way. I've only done it the way the game really pushes for you, only because that seems more fun to me. But at the same time, I can get so much money by the end of that game, I could probably just buy the center.
I don't know, I've never played Stardew Valley, and I probably should. I
love it. It's just a chill game. It's chill. I would say it's at your own pace, but there is a time limit on everything, so there's still a bit of agency in it. But like, man, I like chill games. I like playing train simulators. I'm an old man. I'm okay with that.
My hang up right now is as far as like buying games and stuff is like I'll go through it, I'll be like just looking on the Steam store and I'll see something, I'll be like, I remember that game. And like all of my games in my games folder are things I played on Xbox, and eventually I plan on like branching out. It's just I'm like, I remember that game. That game was really good. Let me play it again. And like Fallout New Vegas, where it's like just hours and hours of content, and I'm just like, Nate, there are tons of games right now that are really interesting that you could play that you remember, listening to podcasts and hearing it and being like, oh yeah, that seems like a really cool PC game when I eventually get a PC, but you don't play them because you want to play.
There's I don't remember who made this comic, but it's a guy describing his computer and all the stats he has, and it's an excellent gaming computer. It could play in 4K, VR, HDR. And he's like, so what are you playing? Tetris. And I'm like, I feel like that's a personal attack on me because I'm still playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. Because that was one of my first ever computer games besides the Tonka series. I played Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I played the living shit out of that game. And then as soon as I got this beast that we're recording on right now in the studio, was one of the first things I played. Play Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I'd say the first PC game I ever played. I was shadowing a college student. Like it was like almost like Big Brothers program back in the day, but it wasn't Big Brothers. It was like some college like outreach program or something for people who wanted to work in the social like therapists and stuff like that. And she was doing schoolwork and she put me on her computer and she had SimCity 2000 on it. That's the first computer game I ever played.
Oh god, I remember that game. I loved it.
I was terrible at it. I didn't know what I was doing.
No, David.
I made the aliens invade, but that's about it.
The problem with that was when I first played that game, I just built whatever was prefabbed and I would put the streets, have no idea what I was doing. And then I remember one day I was going to the bathroom and I'm like, I'm going to grab reading material because I'm kind of going to be in there for a while. I'm going to be bored. So I grabbed the Sims. First off, this is the first manual I ever seen that was a fucking spiral-bound book. Was the SimCity manual. And I'm looking and I'm like, wait, you could build bridges? You could build over water? You need electricity?
And like you're a little bit older than me, but not by too much. And it's like there are some things where you remember where it was like you were like a little bit older, where it was me just like slapping my hands on a keyboard and drooling. But
don't worry, I did that well and took high school for games. I didn't even fucking beat Sonic 2, which I've had since 1992. I believe it came out in 92.
You still haven't beat it?
No, I haven't. I didn't beat it until maybe 2006.
Wow. Just because we're on the topic of games and older games, what was your first game? Like, what's the first game you ever played? Or you ever got? I remember mine.
My first game... Okay, so all the Genesis games I ever played were never mine. They were my dad's, or they were my aunt's, or they ended up being my cousin's. I never got any Sega Genesis games because I technically never owned a Genesis. My dad owned it, and then he gave it to my aunt, and she owned it. And I played it upstairs on their TV. But I did get computer games. You know what? I remember. It was Jungle Train.
Jungle Train. That sounds very obscure.
Everybody rides on the Jungle Train. It's old. Very few people know of it. It's a shitty game. It's one of those clickable games where it's mostly you just click on stuff and then you build a train. And then you go in, you can ride it to places. It's really shitty DOS. This is literally like 93, 94. And it was the first game that was mine. And it was my game and I owned it. And I played it on our first family computer. It was shit. I also remember playing one of the Oregon Trail games.
Yeah.
Like, not the original, but one of the later ones with the full color pictures, and it was shitty as well.
I remember my first game. It's a little less obscure than yours. It's a very little known game that not a lot of people know about. It was Pokemon Gold for the Game Boy Color.
That was my first Pokemon game and my first Game Boy game. Oh, keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll just go into the just a weird thing about Pokemon Gold and Silver. It's just me and you now. Pokemon Gold and Silver. My dad bought me my copy of Pokemon Gold, and then like extenuating circumstances, I didn't really see him that much. The last game he ever bought me was Pokemon Soul Silver. So since Soul Silver is a remake of the Gen 2 games, it had a really weird it has like Pokemon has a really interesting place in my life where I haven't played Sword and Shield since it came out, but like yeah, like the first game he bought me was the original Gold, and then he bought me the remake of Silver as the last game he bought me. So it was just a interesting situation there.
Yeah, my basically short story. My dad at one point comes up to me and is talking to me. In my school, we had something called a Birchwood Booster, and if we got it, we got a whole ceremony and everything. So my dad basically says, "Hey, if you ever get a Birchwood Booster, I'll get you a Game Boy." And I went, "Oh, that's cool." Forgot about it. My dad didn't know that my school had a thing where they tried to get everyone a Birchwood Booster so everyone could walk out like that. So I get one before the very end of my fourth grade. And of course, as soon as that happens, my dad goes out. So what I'm holding in my hands is an original Game Boy Color Special Edition for Gold and Silver, Pikachu and Pichu edition.
I had one of those. I don't remember where it went.
Love
Man.
it. So I have that, and I have Silver was my first, actually, not Gold. I got Silver first, and then a couple of months later, I was in I want to say I was in a Best Buy with my aunt, and she comes over to I'm of course looking in the game section, and she goes, "Pick one." I'm like, "What? Pick a game." So I picked the same game except in a gold cartridge. I didn't know they were the same thing. I
I
was
mean,
unaware.
they have different Pokemon and stuff, but you need another Game Boy.
It's the same game.
It
So
is.
I owned both of them, and it was like maybe a couple of months after they came out was when I got them.
I'd say I like the sprites on Silver a little better though, because like in back in the old days, the cartridges had a little more character. Like each one had a little bit of a different like I don't know. The monsters looked cooler in Silver. I always thought.
I think they both. I know that Silver and Gold, they both had different stances. If you had the same Pokemon in both of them, they all had different stances depending on which cartridge, and I think they had different screams.
I don't think so. Really,
I think they had slightly different screens. That or Crystal version had all the different screens. By the way, I also got
Crystal was
version.
animated. That was the thing with
Oh,
Crystal.
Crystal was animated because I remember. Oh, they had both then technically.
Yeah,
Both stances
Crystal.
animated.
I know. I can't remember how to do math problems, but I can remember obscure things about the Pokemon Gen 2. So, as far as Gen 2 goes, like with Crystal, Crystal has a mix of both gold sprites and silver sprites. So, it's a mix, and you can't catch Mareep, and Ampharos is one of my favorite Gen 2s, so as much as I like Crystal,
Excuse me.
no, you're good.
Old school here. Continue.
Speaking of which, just off topic, do you have a game bit, like to open up Game Boy cartridges?
No, I don't.
Shit. Because I was helping Elliot move and like move some stuff out of her room and move some stuff into her room. And I found 2 copies of Pokemon Crystal. And both of the save batteries are dead. So I was gonna replace them. I know how to replace them. It's just a matter of getting the hardware around. Do you have a soldering iron?
I do actually.
Ooh, we could
My dad
figure out
has it in the
something.
garage.
That would be my first soldering job. I wouldn't know what I was doing. Like,
I don't trust myself with a soldering iron. In
I
any
could just
way.
I could just tape it and call it a day. But if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right. Because I don't know, if you tape it, there could be a chance that the contact might slip off and you might lose data.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'd rather just like unsolder it and then solder the pieces on. But
Oh yeah, no, right. My gold cartridge needs a new battery. I wanted to see the difference between the sprites. I'm like, right, I can't do that. I have to go through Professor Oak's bullshit.
well, like I can buy because they have like 5 packs of them on Amazon. They're the 1025 watch batteries, so they're pretty cheap.
Yeah,
And
they're common batteries.
people will specially put on the little, if you've ever looked in the inside of a Game Boy cartridge, it has like the little metal overlap part that connects the battery and holds it down. They sell those in like lots of 5s, so I could just give you a couple and
Yep, my silver cartridge also has the same problem.
we could make a day of just fixing old Game Boy carts. Like it'd be
I was
fun.
gonna be down for that. I'd stream it.
Just mess up soldering shit. It'd be great.
That's the thing I fear with these is that like they're original, so I mean, putting a new battery wouldn't be a problem with me. It's just, I don't want to fuck it up. I can hear the battery loose in there too.
I think that's just the whole board, maybe.
No, because this one's solid.
Oh.
This one, there's a little thing right here that's loose.
Yeah, that's about where it is too, because I've seen enough diagrams of it to know it's like in the top right, if I remember correctly.
Actually, I got panicked because I saw a YouTube video where they said, "Oh yeah, you know, there's a bunch of like ROM hack versions of Sapphire and Ruby going around, and here's how you tell the difference." I'm like, "Oh fuck!" Rand got my copies. I started examining them. I'm like, "I think I have a fake Sapphire." I have one Sapphire. I actually have two Sapphires. One's legit. One's fake. And that's only because I got one for $5 at a vendor thinking, I don't have Sapphire anymore. I should probably go pick up one up so I can have it in the collection. Only to find out, no, I still have it.
It's one of those things where it's like, when somebody says like, oh, the definition of creepy is leaving your house for a week and coming back, and somebody's replaced everything with exact copies of the thing. And it's just like, yeah, that's creepy, but like, it's like the same concept with a cartridge that's fake, like a fake cartridge of Sapphire, say. Like, it's I don't know, if you really like think about it, it could bother you, but at the same time, it's like, well, if it looks exactly like it plays exactly like it, and it doesn't wipe my save every fifth time I play it, like another cartridge I got a bootleg copy of Pokemon Quartz that like deleted every like 5 or so times. But
do note that there is a slight play difference. Most people will notice it, but because it's being emulated, sounds will be slightly off, and on top of that, you're also going to have the other issue where you'll get frame skips.
Yeah, which I do want. Like, here's the thing: like, what we could do as far as this whole thing goes, we could buy a few copies of like lesser games. Like, I'm not saying Pokemon's better, but games that have an older, like shovelware games that happen to have batteries in them. We could take those, use those as sacrificial carts to solder and unsolder, make sure they work.
Yeah, test it out.
Yeah, because I don't want to screw up Ellie's copies of Pokemon Crystal, and I might buy like a couple Pokemon carts for myself and replace the batteries on those, because I kind of want to start building the collection back up.
That's why I've tried to keep everything that I've originally gotten, but man, sometimes it's really hard to find originals of things. Well, I'm lucky to have held on to these because I lost my Crystal version. My
mom, for some reason, didn't want me playing Pokemon after I was playing it for like 3 or 4 years. She got rid of all my Pokemon stuff, and my mom and dad went on vacation for a week, and I was with some relatives. They came back and they brought a big brown box filled to the tippy top with Pokemon memorabilia, Pokemon stickers, Pokemon ink stamps, Pokemon sticker books, Pokemon. I had a box of, I've seen it online. I've tried to find it before. I wouldn't try to eat it now, but it was literally a giant box of Pokemon gum. Like, the shitty, like, powder covered, like
a Bazooka Joe knockoff.
Yeah, like, it was just covered in Pokemon stamps. Like, like the little ink, like the edible ink on it.
Yeah.
That might be a reason why I am the way I am now, but
you see a box of those, nothing could bad happen.
Yeah, I probably got some brain damage. But it just had like, like I'm talking like anything that they could slap Pokemon on. My mom bought it for me, and my mom got rid of all of it for some reason. I think she was like, "Oh yeah, you're too old to be playing Pokemon now," so she got rid of all of it. And
I'm sorry. As soon as Pokemon Go came out, it showed everyone that Pokemon's ageless.
And like, I don't have my original copies of the games. I do have my dad, the copy of Soul Silver my dad bought me. I still have that though. I managed to smuggle that through the years, and I kept that. So I still have that. And since my dad is passed away now, I do have that as a memory of something that he bought me, and it's something I'd like to keep held on to, because hey, at least the save battery isn't going to die on those, because it's all in theory. All technology dies,
but that's something that could be easily replaced, and the whole of it is still there. It's just the save battery. The only thing it does is keep track of the time, really, and your save data. but the rest of the data still exists on the cart as normal. Something I would like to talk about real quick before we end would be the fact that I was there when the Pokemon craze kicked off from the very beginning. Well, I didn't own Pokemon until Silver. I was there for the anime's beginning. I was there for when it, well, at least in America, I should restate. I remember when the cards became huge. I remember how, like, you go past stores and you see all these random iconic things, and then you'd see the one Pokemon shirt because the store didn't know what Pokemon was, what these Pokemans were. So they would put a shirt out and be like, oh, we have Pokemans here. I remember there was actually one store that actually dedicated an entire section of it as a trading card section. Man. So you could go in and trade your cards with the store. And everyone said this is going to be dumb shit. In about 3 years, everyone's going to forget this is a thing. And maybe nostalgia will kick in. And boy, am I fucking laughing now, sitting in front of my Pokemon Switch. Everyone knows what Pokemon is. It's now become a staple of not only of Japanese culture that we see as in America, that as we perceive Japanese culture in America, it's become a staple in our culture. That you can go anywhere in the fucking United States and mention Pokemon, and someone's like, "Oh fuck, I love that thing."
Yeah, I remember being like on the then just being like, "Oh yeah, you're too old for Pokemon," like from other kids and stuff, and it's like there are fifth graders playing it, but you know the same fifth graders would tell me I'm too old for Pokemon. It was weird.
Like when my cousin says, "I don't think you know about this, but like there's a new a game called Pokemon." I'm like, "Kid, you have no idea."
I like the one thing I have like I guess we'll like since we're ending this, I'll keep it brief, but one of the things that bothers me, oh, it is 6. One of the things that bothers me about the new games is it's just I'm worried Pokemon's on the decline and is eventually going to just fade because they're doing a lot of things that a lot of. Then again, the Pokemon fandom can never be satisfied, and
no fandom can never be satisfied.
Like the Pokemon fandom is literally like 4 horses pulling on each other. And we all want different things. If there would have been, like when the 10-cent game was announced, if there would have been a game then that was announced, like a Gen 4 game, they would have found something to bitch about with it.
I mean,
so
I can't say because I'm excited for Pokemon Snap. I want it again. But I think the last point I want to bring up before we end would be, same thing with Pokemon is, I remember back when I enjoyed Pokemon, everyone making fun of you for it and it being shit on. It's a kid's thing, and I feel like now with the age of technology and remembering my childhood, I don't make fun of people for liking Fortnite. I don't care about the TikTok people because I've decided I don't want to be as jaded as other people. And I mean, trust me, I don't like Fortnite. I don't like. I can't say I don't like TikTok. TikTok's fun. I have nothing against TikTok, but like I absolutely hate Fortnite on many different levels. Not that it's a bad game. It's just, it's one of those. I feel like it's an immature kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna shit on some kid who likes Fortnite and does the Fortnite dances. Because I remember back in the day when I was the kid, put that cap back and throwing the Pokeball. Like I remember I did shit like that, and that was my childhood. And I'm not gonna shit on someone else's childhood. So I'm just, my only point is, just remember next time that some kid brings up their fad or their fun thing that's recent that you think is stupid, you're Pokemans. You're Pokemon's person. That's who you are. You're the one walking up and was like, what the fuck is this Pokemans? It's stupid as shit. That's who you are when you do that.
Alright, we're gonna end it here.
Alright, it's been fun.
It's been fun.
Hopefully we won't die for another 6 months.
Yeah, now that it's been about 6 months since we recorded. It's just been, what with quarantine and just random scares and
trying to keep safe and everything.
And schedules on top of that. Schedules have been crazy. But hopefully we can get into the pattern, even if it is like a thing, or I wanted to keep it originally just, all 4 of us all at the same time, but if one of us is out, like, that's fine too. Like, we can always just keep making more. Like, I kind of want to keep it as a weekly or bi-weekly thing now.
I would love to do it as a weekly thing.
like it all, like I said, it all just depends on circumstance, and it really just depends on that. So
Eventually, I'll work on a way where we can do it remotely, but it's really hard to do.
yeah, and even though we all live in the same town, well, one of us lives one town over, but it's just even then, like like with it's just trying to get everything in place. Like we're thinking about like doing Discord, but
Hmm.
I don't think it's working too
If you
well.
guys
So
ever get your own place, I can just. I can't bring this equipment, but I can bring something over and we can get it done there.
another problem is me and Ellie live together.
Hmm.
So if we do it remotely, one of us would have to be on one side of the house, one of us would have to be on the other, and I don't
No, you
think
can
her.
just share a mic.
Yeah, I like we'd have to buy like a mic, like a
Yeah.
stand mic, because we just use the headsets. So
Yeah.
because we're heathens. All right. I think we're gonna end this now. You guys have a good one. Stay safe out there. This world's getting crazier and crazier by the month.
Please. Have a great day, guys.